Greetings, companions, from my safari into the south-central parts of Angola. I'm sitting here on the banks of the Kubango River, and I've been here for 2 days so far because the ferry that I need to cross is out of order. Where I'm sitting here under a tree, I more or less lost track of the number of days I've been on the safari. Perhaps 7 or 8, of which the last 2 were spent here. The first 2 days, I almost vaguely recall, were spent traversing the modern world, as we all know it, with all the amenities that a modern world traveler would expect. I drove up through South Africa, then the southern part of Botswana. Then I slipped through the Mahadi Bands, and then round the southern tip of the Okavango swamps. And then I turned north up the western side of the Great Swamp. The Western Caprivi on the 3rd day, I guess one could still call modern world. Although in the rural areas it began to look more like the middle world. But when I turned north, following the Kubango River, evidence of the modern world washed out completely. Towards that afternoon, I was completely in the middle world. Only the biggest towns still had kind of splashes of the modern world. Everything that a modern world traveler takes for granted now becomes uncertain. How each day might turn out, what goods and services I'd get in the next town, how far exactly I'd be able to reach on a particular day, everything. The unexpected becomes the expected. Now on this journey, I had to, for instance, turn around at one point and drive a long way back because the main road that I'd been traveling on had simply been closed off with a fence. In another instance, a main road was so potholed and generally deteriorated that a 2-hour journey turned into a 6-hour torture to driver and vehicle. And astonishingly, while I was crawling along this agony, I got fined for speeding. And I was sent back to a town somewhere further back to go and draw cash to pay on the spot. And these were just the more extreme of the unusual events. The usual unusual ones include cattle resting on the tar surface blocking the road and you have to wait for them to get up and get out the way, a petrol station without fuel, a road on the ground that's not on the map and one on the map that's not on the ground, even a bridge that is washed away, and something like this ferry situation. Now this may seem unmanageably chaotic to a modern world mind, but in Africa's middle world, it's the norm. The only solution is determination, resilience, and a new plan each time the current one gets thwarted. It is sometimes frustrating, but it is part of the journey into the wilderness. And it's an adventure in its own right. Companions, I hope you enjoyed that. Next week, I'll bring you another story about my safari into the southeast of Angola. Good luck until then.